They discovered the secrets of what to abandon in your life for a miraculous transformation. Few knew what truly happened that night in the shadows of the ancient marketplace. Whispers traveled like wildfire, igniting curiosity in the hearts and minds of those who dared to listen. Among them was a humble beggar named Eli. His worn hands stretched out for coins, but his spirit yearned for something far greater, something miraculous. The air was thick with the scent of fresh spices and the sounds of merchants bargaining fiercely. Lively colors danced around him, golden textiles and bright fruits, but Eli felt none of that vibrancy. His heart felt heavy, like an anchor weighing him down. Little did he know, the night would unveil secrets entwined with faith and sacrifice. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a figure cloaked in mystery approached. With eyes that shone like stars, this man held an energy that crackled with divine purpose. Eli's gaze squinted, heart pounding. Who was this stranger, and what transformative power did he carry? The man beckoned Eli closer, whispering words that tingled in the cool evening air. Cast away your burdens, and walk into the light. Tension rose. People paused their bustling lives to overhear the conversation, their expressions a mix of disbelief and intrigue. Could this stranger truly offer what Eli longed for? The beggar's heart raced, torn between skepticism and hope. What should he abandon? His sorrow? His shame? Or perhaps some hidden anger that lay coiled within him, like a serpent ready to strike? With each heartbeat, the crowd leaned in, their murmurs cascading like waves crashing against the rocks. Eli felt their eyes upon him, an overwhelming judgment mingling with anticipation. What if he failed? What if the miraculous change ended in failure? Yet, in that moment of doubt, an unexpected warmth blossomed in his chest, igniting a spark of courage. He took a deep breath, glancing around, sensing the weight of countless expectations pressing down. The mysterious man looked deep into Eli's soul, as if discerning the very fabric of his being. Silence enveloped them. Seconds dragged on like eons. Just then, a fleeting thought pierced the air. Was it too late for Eli? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the whispers of the night echoed around him, Eli felt the magnetic pull of the mysterious man's presence. The crowd held its breath, waiting, their faces illuminated by the silvery glow of the moon. Eli wondered if this was the moment he had been waiting for, a chance to abandon the weight he carried, yet uncertainty gnawed at him. Who are you? Eli finally managed to voice, his voice trembling like the leaves in the evening breeze. The question hung in the air, a simple inquiry laden with profound implications. The man smiled gently, his gaze steady, kind. I am but a traveler, much like you, wandering through the shadows of despair in search of light. But the truth of my being is not important. What truly matters is what lies within you, Eli. What do you seek? Eli's heart lurched at the sound of his name, a name he had long associated only with pity and neglect. I seek to be free, he confessed, tears brimming in his weary eyes. Free from my past, these stones of bitterness and loss that have formed my identity. As if sensing the gravity of Eli's confession, the man stepped forward, the golden threads of his cloak shimmering against the night. Freedom comes not from what you abandon, but from understanding what binds you. You must know your chains to break them. Eli's breath caught. What chains did he carry? Guilt for the life he felt he had wasted. Anger at the world for its cruelty. Regret for dreams unfulfilled. As if reading his thoughts, the man gestured toward the marketplace bustling behind them. What do you see? Merchants vying for business, shoppers haggling for deals, a life filled with noise, Eli replied, his voice barely a whisper. Look deeper, the man urged. What drives them? What sacrifices do they make for fleeting gains? Eli's mind raced. He remembered time spent in the shadows, watching as others flourished, often at the expense of the humble. They seek something beyond barter, satisfaction perhaps, but it leads to emptiness. Exactly, the man affirmed, his eyes gleaming with an inner light. Now imagine what lies beyond their pursuits. A purpose that transcends the trivial life, where the pursuit of goods is overshadowed by the quest for love, kindness, and understanding. The warmth within Eli surged, stoking the embers of hope long buried. But how can I transform my life when it feels so chained to despair? By acknowledging your worth, Eli. Abandoning the false notions that bind you and embracing the truth of your humanity. The process may unveil pain, but pain is merely a bridge to understanding. Eli's heart beat louder, and he felt tears spill onto his weathered cheeks. The man's insights pierced through his defenses, unfurling the tightly coiled serpent of doubt. Could the beggar gather the strength to embrace this journey of purpose? As the silence wrapped around them, the crowd held on to this moment, each listener reflecting on their own burdens and yearnings for transformation. Would they too dare to seek the path of understanding and purpose? With courage blossoming within, Eli took a step toward the men. I want to learn. I want to embrace this journey, but the shadows of my past feel insurmountable. Then let those shadows light your path, my friend. But be warned, the journey will ask for your heart. What will you choose to surrender to walk forward? Eli's chest tightened as the weight of that question settled upon him. He looked toward the horizon, where the darkness met the dawn, pondering the depths of his next steps. What burdens would he be willing to lay down to uncover the miraculous transformation that awaited? As the pink hues of dawn broke over the horizon, Eli found himself enveloped in a miasma of thoughts and emotions, each competing for his attention. The man stood beside him, patient and unwavering, as the stirrings of the new day began to awaken the marketplace. The light softened the edges of his weariness, but shadows still danced in Eli's mind. What must I surrender? He murmured, half to himself. The whispered inquiry hung between them, a tangible thread connecting the mystery of his past to the promise of potential redemption. What if I cannot find the strength to shed these burdens? The man's gaze pierced Eli with an understanding that felt almost divine. Strength is not the absence of fear nor the absence of burdens, it is the recognition that you are still whole, despite your scars. To transform is to witness the beauty you can create in the ashes of your own struggles. Eli took a faltering breath, the weight of the man's words urging him to dig deeper. But can pain really serve a purpose? Can it serve as a catalyst for something good? The mysterious traveler glanced towards the rising sun, its light spilling across the ground like liquid gold. Consider the seed that must break open to birth the sprout. The pain of separation from what was encapsulated within is the very gift of growth. Without embracing the ground's grip, the green shoots cannot reach for the sky. Eli pondered, grappling with the enormity of this new perspective. Inside him, the oppressive darkness whispered that the pain was insurmountable, that it was easier to hold on to the past than to face the uncertainty of the future. But what if he allowed those dark moments to transform into lessons rather than prisons? What if I fail? What if I confront my wounds only to find that they are deeper than I imagined? Ella's words trembled as doubt threatened to suffocate his burgeoning resolve. The man smiled a gentle, reassuring curve of lips that seemed to radiate warmth. But what if you find the healing you seek, Eli? What if each step, however small, leads you closer to understanding the divine purpose behind your suffering? Each painful memory has a lesson, and each lesson is a step toward freedom. Eli's heart raced with the possibilities unfurling before him. He envisioned a vast expanse of choices and roads to traverse. However, with those choices came the weight of uncertainty. How do I begin? He asked, his voice barely rising above a whisper. Begin with honesty. Acknowledge each hurt and the power it holds over you. In recognizing them, you allow yourself the chance to reshape your narrative. You become the author of your story, not a mere character defined by tragedy, but a victor claiming their truth. The dawn broke fully, bathing them in a radiant glow, and Eli could feel the warmth deep within his chest. He caught a glimpse of strength in relinquishing his fears, and for the first time, he sensed the stirrings of hope. The heaviness of his past did not disappear, but it felt less like a shackle. Will I find others to walk this path alongside me? Those who understand. Eli asked, vulnerability lacing his tone. The man nodded knowingly. The journey is not meant to be traveled alone. When you embrace your truth, you will draw others seeking the same light. Are you willing to share your struggles, to connect with others in their own pain, while bearing witness to growth? Eli's thoughts swirled. The prospect of vulnerability felt daunting yet exalting. Trusting others had often ended in betrayal for him. How could he risk the pain of rejection again? And yet, how could he claim transformation without the warmth of companionship? As the vibrant colors of the sky evolved into a tapestry of evening gold, Eli stood at the precipice of decision. What am I truly willing to surrender? He whispered, the question now echoing inside him with new intensity, and at that moment, Eli understood he was poised not just on the brink of a new beginning but at the heart of a much greater mysterious transformation that would require more than courage. It would require willingness to embrace the storm within and around him. Would he be ready to step into the light, even if it meant navigating the depths of his unresolved fears and doubts in the process? As the sun hovered low in the sky, casting long shadows across the marketplace, Ella's heart raced with the echoes of his thoughts. The man at his side remained a steady presence, unyielding in the face of the tumult swirling within Eli. The gravity of his newfound awareness felt palpable, as if each heartbeat resonated with unexpressed revelation. Each story of struggle, the man began, breaking the silence, is laced with threads of the divine, woven through the fabric of life. Sometimes, we do not see the beauty because we hold too tightly to the pain. What happens if you let go, even for a moment? The question hung in the air like a ripe fruit ready to fall. Eli contemplated his grip on the burdens he had carried for so long. What lay in his heart that he had yet to release? In that moment, he felt the stirrings of something deeper, a yearning to unearth whatever lay beneath the surface. Old wounds suffocated by moss, memories dulled by time. Can you help me to understand what I must abandon? Eli asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The man nodded, his eyes glimmering with wisdom. Begin with the stories you tell yourself. Each time you relive the past, you reinforce a narrative that binds you. What if you reframe those narratives? What if you chose to see the strength born from adversity instead of the shadows from which you hide? Reframe. Eli repeated, the word tasting foreign on his tongue. It stirred a curiosity within him, a subtle shift in perspective that held the potential to reshape his own story. Yes, the man affirmed, a soft smile lighting his face. You can decide which memories to cultivate and which to release. No longer must you dwell in pain like a moth drawn to a flame. Instead, you can choose to be the phoenix that rises from those very ashes. Eli's thoughts flickered like flames, igniting his imagination. But what if I uncover truths I am unprepared for? What if the lessons buried beneath the surface are too heavy to carry? The man's gaze was penetrating, limbs coiled in thoughtful reflection. The weight of the truth is often lighter than the desert of denial. Embrace the fear, let it guide you. Each unveiling brings not just hardship but the promise of understanding. Pain has a way of revealing what is most sacred in our hearts. Do you wish to carry the joy of the journey, or remain shackled by the sorrow of stagnation? Eli shivered at the thought of remaining in limbo, both clinging to the past and fearing the future. The weight of indecision pressed upon him more than the burdens he already bore. What if he dared to confront his past? Could it pave the way for a new beginning? I am both terrified and intrigued, Eli confessed, the words escaping his lips like a timid breeze. What if I set out to face my wounds, only to find I've lost more than I can bear? The man gestured to the thrumming life around them, families laughing, merchants bartering, children chasing one another in playful delight. Consider this tapestry of existence, Eli. Within each thread lies the potential for connection, understanding, and, ultimately, healing. You are surrounded by countless souls, each battling their own storms. What if you become a lighthouse for others lost in dark waters? Eli turned his gaze to the crowd, his heart quickening once more. The prospect of becoming a source of strength for others felt dazzling yet fraught with vulnerability. How could I ever be a lighthouse? He exclaimed, grappling with the weight of expectation. The man offered a gentle laugh, his voice like the rustling of leaves. A lighthouse does not wait for perfection, it simply shines. Your journey toward healing will illuminate paths that remain obscured for others. Embrace your journey not as shameful but as a sacred pilgrimage. As the sun began to dip beyond the horizon, the vibrant colors painted the sky in a breathtaking display. Eli felt a spark within him. The shadows that clung to his heart seemed to recede with the waning light, revealing a glimmer of something new, a flicker of what it could mean to forge connections from shared vulnerabilities. What if? The secrets to transformation lay not solely in the burdens he must shed, but in the act of sharing his journey with others. Eli's burgeoning curiosity urged him to take a step closer to the central mystery that enveloped him. Can this truly lead to something miraculous? He pondered aloud, the unease of uncertainty mingling with hope. The man, watching Eli with an expression of grace, merely nodded, leaving the question suspended in the twilight, a whisper that urged him toward discovery and connection. What miracles would the night unveil, and how might our darkest fears give birth to the greatest revelations? The shadows deepened as darkness draped itself over the bustling marketplace, yet Eli felt a strange warmth radiating within him, as if the sunset's final hues had ignited a different kind of light. The man beside him remained quiet, as if he understood that Eli now stood at the threshold of something significant. Walk with me, he suggested, gesturing as they started down a narrow path lined with flickering oil lamps. Their soft glow illuminated the world with a gentle brilliance that danced off the cobblestones beneath their feet. As they walked, Ella's mind danced between fear and excitement. What must I truly abandon? He asked, voice steadying as he found his footing in the shadows creeping around him. If I begin this journey inward, shedding layers of who I am, will I recognize what remains? Or will I lose myself completely? The man turned to him, the darkness emphasizing the contours of his face. In the act of shedding the unnecessary, what emerges is your true essence. Think of the chrysalis, where the caterpillar, knowing not of its wings, must endure a transformation, abandoning its former self in a murky liminal space before it unfolds into its divine nature. Eli recalls stories of nature's miracles. He envisioned the caterpillar's struggle, a battle fought in silence. And what if the emergence is painful? What if the transformation reveals something I am unwilling to face? A serene smile creased the man's lips. Pain is often the catalyst for awakening. It nudges at your spirit, urging you to grow. Each ache and bruise of the journey serves as an invitation to rise anew. Do not fear the unknown, Eli. Fear the stagnation that comes from clinging to the familiar. They continued their walk, the rhythmic echo of their footsteps punctuating the soft night air. The fragrance of baked bread and spices wafted around them, a reminder of life pulsing all around. Eli marveled at the living tapestry woven by dreams and difficulties, whispers of countless stories intermingled like the threads of a grand fabric. What if my past is too heavy? Eli mused, the words weighing heavily on his tongue. What if I cannot forgive myself for the choices I made? The man stopped, placing a hand gently on Ella's shoulder. Forgiveness doesn't negate the past, rather, it acknowledges its place within the journey of your soul. Each choice, each mistake, contributes to the wisdom you now seek. Release the burden of guilt and allow grace to be your guiding light. A chill prickled Ella's skin, not from the night's cool air but from the profound realization. You speak of grace as if it is a tangible thing like air or water. How does one cultivate grace within amidst the chaos of life? Grace is the act of seeing divinity in every moment, recognizing that life unfolds with a rhythm all its own. The man resumed walking, his voice a soothing cadence. It flows when you allow your heart to be open, when you choose empathy over judgment, and when you forgive yourself as you would a dear friend. It is in the mundane where miracles often hide. Eli pondered these words, feeling their resonance deep within. Could it be that grace lay in the act of vulnerability? In understanding that every person he encountered shared in the struggle of existence. Perhaps relinquishing control over his tightly held narratives could weave a new thread into the fabric of his life. As they arrived at a small clearing, the man gestured toward the stars shimmering above, offering a celestial canvas for reflection. Recognize that every star has its light, every heart has its story. Are you willing to let your own glow be revealed amidst the universe's vastness? Eli found his gaze drifting skyward while contemplating the sizes of worlds beyond his own. What if the story I tell is only a shadow of what could be? The man nodded knowingly, his eyes reflecting the starlight. Every question held gently can lead to new paths. It's in your inquiries that the sacred unfolds. Remember, Eli, to ask is to journey, and to journey is to uncover. With that, Eli felt a flicker of understanding, a fragile bloom in the garden of his heart, awakening truths still veiled. What would my life look like if I embraced grace, if I dared to uncover the deeper narratives within my soul? This question lingered, a shimmering star in the tapestry of the night, whispering of wonders yet to unfold. Would Eli dare to explore the miraculous transformation awaiting him on the other side of his fears? As Eli and the man paused in the clearing, the vastness of the night enveloped them in silence, each star overhead a tiny whisper from the universe. Eli inhaled deeply, the cool air filling his lungs and invigorating his spirit. Yet, a swell of uncertainty lingered in his heart, mingling with the budding understanding of grace. What if, he began hesitantly, the path forward reveals not only the beauty of transformation but also the depths of despair I've hidden away? The man stood still, his gaze fixed on the stars as if they held the answers to Eli's unasked questions. You speak of despair as if it were a curse. Remember, each moment of darkness has its lessons, moments that, when embraced, serve as beacons of wisdom. It is often through our struggles that we learn who we truly are. Eli turned his face toward the endless sky, his heart a tumult of emotions. But what if I am not strong enough to face those shadows? What if the answers I seek will reveal a truth more painful than I can bear? Strength arises from vulnerability, the man answered softly. The willingness to confront what lies within, to peer into the shadow, reveals a profound courage. In the depths of your soul, you will find not only challenges but also the very source of your resilience. The chrysalis is often dark, yet it is there that the greatest miracles are born. He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle in. Think of the suffering you have witnessed, Eli, in those around you. Each person bears their own wounds, yet they emerge transformed, shining brighter than before. You are not alone in this journey. The courage to step into your own darkness will illuminate the path for others as well. Eli's heart stirred at this notion. He thought of the faces he had seen in the marketplace, each line a story, each eye a window into struggles and victories. Do we all share the same challenges then? Is it possible our suffering is a shared burden, interwoven into the very fabric of humanity? Indeed, the man replied, his voice resonating like a gentle bell. When you shift your perspective to see others through the lens of compassion, you will discover that your burdens can become bridges of connection. In the end, the quest for understanding is what binds us all. Eli considered this. The very thought of transforming his pain into a source of empathy felt revolutionary. How do I begin this process of shedding off, allowing grace to wash over the remnants of my past? The man smiled knowingly. Begin with the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Sit with it, invite it in, and listen. Share your story with those willing to hear and allow them to reflect back the light you hold. You may find that what you perceive as your darkest hour offers the brightest illumination for both you and your community. A heaviness lifted slightly off Ella's chest, yet doubt still clung to him. And if I encounter resistance, if the shadows refuse to yield, every journey has its trials, the man replied, stepping closer as the oil lamps flickered in the breeze. But know this, even in your darkest moments, you will not be alone. Faith carries those who walk with open hearts, who seek communion with the divine, the one who embraces all stories, no matter how fractured they may appear. What seems like a solitary pilgrimage is often a shared quest for light. Eli regarded the man closely, his eyes alight with curiosity. Then could it be that my discovery of grace is not solely for my benefit, but also for the sake of others? Precisely, the man responded with warmth. Your journey inward can ripple outward. As you learn to seek the truth within yourself, you become a vessel of healing and hope for others. The story you write amid inner turmoil may be the very inspiration that ignites change in someone else's heart. With a mixture of hope and uncertainty, Eli gazed back at the stars, contemplating the path that lay ahead. But how do I maintain the faith when the road becomes treacherous? How do I hold on to grace amid the chaos? The man's smile was gentle, timeless wisdom gracing his features. Nurture your spirit with reflection, surround yourself with those who uplift you, and learn to offer compassion to yourself. Remember that faith is often like a flickering light in a storm. It does not extinguish, it merely requires your attention. Continue to ask questions, for they illuminate your way. The air around them hummed with possibility as Ella's mind whirled with newfound revelations. Yet, a lingering question danced just beyond his consciousness. If I embrace this journey toward grace and understanding, who will I become on the other side of my fears? What will be left of the Eli I once knew? As the echoes of his question faded into the night, Eli felt both a tremor of anxiety and a flicker of excitement. The dance of transformation was beginning, yet the essence of the man beside him remained an intriguing mystery. Would the answers reveal a version of himself he was ready to meet? Eli stood in the stillness of the night, a silent prayer rising within him as he contemplated the words shared between him and the enigmatic man. An unexpected chill swept through the clearing, rustling the leaves overhead. It seemed to whisper the promise of change, a beckoning into the deep unknown. Commitment to this journey weighed heavily upon him, yet something within urged him onward. Tell me, Eli dared to ask, what should I abandon in order to embrace the transformation you spoke of? What burdens still tether me to the past? The man regarded him thoughtfully, his eyes reflecting the starlight above. To uncover the essence of who you are meant to be, you must first strip away the layers that no longer serve you. What do you cling to that only feeds the shadows? Is it fear? Anger? Regret? Identify the threads that bind you to sorrow, and then let them unspool quietly in your presence. Eli pondered this. Could the fears that loomed over him be more than mere phantoms? In the corners of his soul, he undertook a silent reckoning with memories of hurt, words left unspoken, and choices steeped in silence. But letting go feels like an act of surrender, he admitted, voice trembling with uncertainty. What if I abandon what I hold dear and find nothing in its place? Just as the tree sheds its leaves in the fall to prepare for a season of new growth, so must you release that which no longer nourishes your spirit, the man instructed, his tone steady. Embrace the emptiness that follows, for it is here that possibility resides. In letting go, you cultivate the space for grace to fill your life anew. Eli's heart raced at this idea, although fear tugged at him. What if the emptiness reveals a sense of loss rather than opportunity? How can I be certain that something beautiful arises from the ashes of my past? The man took a step closer, and in that intimate proximity, a warmth radiated from him, a reminder that the journey was not meant to be traversed in isolation. Trust that the divine weaves a pattern invisible to the eye. The essence of faith, dear Eli, is not based upon certainty but upon hope. In the unfolding mystery, possibilities abound. Eli sighed deeply, feeling the tension of his doubts unfurl slightly. Yet, is it not human to resist change? We have a tendency to cling to what is familiar, even if it bears pain. But therein lies the true challenge, the man replied, a soft chuckle breaking the gravity of the moment. To overcome this human instinct to hold tightly, you must first acknowledge that within every longing lies a greater yearning, the quest for wholeness. Therefore, view your resistance as an invitation to delve deeper into your own heart, to discover what sacred truths may lie hidden beneath. Eli sensed the flicker of courage igniting within him. Could change truly be embraced as a long-lost friend waiting patiently for his return? If I take this leap into the unknown, what must I be prepared to face? Will every choice lead me closer to grace, or will I wander aimlessly? Every choice is part of the process, the man explained, gesturing to the multitude of stars above. Consider these twinkling lights. Though they march across the heavens as solitary points, each contributes to the majestic tapestry of night. You, too, are a constellation in existence, shaped by your decisions. With each step, even in uncertainty, you sculpt your character and influence the lives of others. Eli absorbed these words, their wisdom wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. Will I recognize the signs of transformation as I move forward? Or will I find myself lost in the fog of my own making? Look not for external signs alone, the man intoned, but cultivate the ability to hear the whispers of your spirit. Your heart is equipped with a compass, capable of guiding you through the tempest. Trust that the path will reveal itself in due time. When you cultivate awareness, each experience will light the way, illuminating what needs to be embraced and what must be released. I in the depths of his soul, an uprising of both gratitude and unease stirred. Eli understood this transformative journey would not occur overnight. It was a dance fraught with complexity and beauty. But as he shifted his focus from anxiety to intention, a singular question crystallized in the darkness. Will I possess the courage to face what I must abandon, and in doing so, will I open the door to a life reimagined? And as the stars flickered with ancient secrets, Eli felt the contours of his destiny resting delicately within his grasp, an invitation into the unfolding narrative of his life. The night deepened around Eli, wrapping the world in a quilt of shadows and whispers. He felt the weight of his questions hanging in the air, heavy yet palpable. As he stood in the moonlight, he took a deep breath, seemingly inhaling not just the cool night air but also the anticipation of what lay ahead. The man who spoke such wisdom remained steady by his side, a lighthouse amid Eli's tumultuous sea of thought. Tell me, Eli implored, vulnerable and earnest, what lies beyond this abandonment? What is the nature of the transformation that awaits? Will I be strong enough to recognize it when it arrives? The man smiled, his gaze reflecting a knowing kindness. Transformation is akin to the dawn breaking after the long night. Initially, it presents itself as subtle shifts, the first blush of light painting the horizon. Change is rarely as sudden as a clap of thunder. It is a symphony that builds gradually, composed of many notes coming together over time. Yet, how can I tune my heart to this symphony? Eli asked, the flicker of hope battling against the remnants of his doubt. If I yield to what I must abandon, how do I protect myself from despair should the transformation be slow to reveal its beauty? In your journey, lean into vulnerability, for it is through your willingness to embrace uncertainty that deep understanding grows, the man replied, his voice composed yet laden with urgency. Guard not only the heart but also your spirit. Develop practices be prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection that invite stillness. In that stillness, you'll hear the heartbeat of change. Eli contemplated deeply, realizing the gravity of these words. But what of the desires that gnaw at me? What of those aspirations that feel intrinsically tied to my identity? If I abandon my longing, do I not abandon a part of myself? There is wisdom in your desires, and they do not need to fade into oblivion, the man advised, gently guiding Eli through the labyrinth of thoughts. Instead, ask yourself if these aspirations nourish your soul or merely satisfy fleeting cravings. True desires, those aligned with the heart's sacred purpose, will transform into stepping stones toward the greater light awaiting you. Embrace the ones that serve your journey and let the others drift away. Eli felt a glimmer of understanding illuminating the darkness. So, it is not about forsaking all that is dear, but about discerning what truly contributes to my spirit's journey. Precisely, the man nodded. In the act of discernment, you unveil deeper truths about yourself. Remember, even the strongest of oaks begin as a simple acorn buried, forgotten, yet brimming with potential. As you embrace the uncertainty and allow yourself to be transformed, trust that the essence of who you are at your core will rise, beautifully redefined. But what if the redefinition comes with pain? Eli questioned, his voice barely a whisper. What if the struggle obscures the light of the future? Pain is often the gardener that prunes our perennial vines, teaching us resilience and wisdom. the man responded with a serene assurance. Growth may be accompanied by discomfort, yet it yields an enriching depth to your spirit. Embrace your emotions, illuminate them with your awareness, for they, too, are part of the sacred tapestry. Eli felt the pull of quiet determination growing stronger. I understand, but I fear I will falter along the way. What assurance do I have that the path I choose will lead me closer to the grace you speak of? The assurance resides within you and derives from your willingness to embark on this journey, to walk in faith. Each step you take, each small choice, will weave threads of meaning into the fabric of your life, the man reassured him. Connect deeply with your inner voice, it is your anchor amidst the storms of uncertainty. Listen closely, for it will not lead you astray. Eli felt a flicker of resolve igniting within him, though shadows of doubt still lingered. He considered his past, the threads he had yet to untangle. If I am to embark on this journey of stripping away what doesn't serve me, I must also grapple with who I truly wish to become. That seems daunting, and therein lies the beauty of it, the man said, his eyes sparkling with a wisdom that seemed to echo from the ages. Identity is not static, it is fluid, like the river that carves its path over time. Allow it to evolve. Engage in dialogue with your spirit, ask it who it longs to become, and the answers, while sometimes shadowed, will guide you. As the night deepened, Eli sat in stillness, fully immersed in contemplation. His heart wrestled with excitement and trepidation, pondering how his choices would shape the transforming landscape of his life. What thresholds am I yet to cross? He mused silently. In this unfolding journey, will I gather the courage to navigate the shadows, and in that navigation, will a new self emerge before me, waiting patiently for recognition? In the silence that followed, the stars twinkled brightly, as if affirming Eli's path toward a journey brimming with potential, yet still shrouded in mystery. As dawn broke over the horizon, the tendrils of light gently dispelled the shadows that had cocooned the night. Eli remained poised in his quiet contemplation, feeling the soft warmth of morning brush against his skin. The world around him appeared anew, each sound a chirping bird, the rustle of leaves resonating with the potential of beginnings. Is this transformation already taking root? Eli thought, his mind swirling with a blend of questions and emerging clarity. The man beside him remained silent for a moment, allowing the awakening day to compose its own symphony, inviting Eli to immerse himself in the moment. Every dawn is a reminder that life cycles through phases. The man finally spoke, his voice weaving through the air like a gentle breeze. Just as night gives way to day, so too does your journey transition from one phase to another. What will you nurture in this morning light? Eli pondered this, feeling an inner awakening. What lies before me is new terrain, he said, an edge of excitement threading through his voice. But it also feels daunting. How do I navigate this landscape of possibilities without losing my way? The light is here to guide you, Eli, the man assured him, gesturing toward the sun cresting above the trees. As you learn to discern the gifts and burdens you carry, allow your heart to illuminate your choices. What feels heavy? What calls to your spirit? We are often held captive by what we believe we need. It is liberating to ask what we can release. Release. Eli echoed, the concept rapid-firing through his mind. It requires courage to let go. I fear that in releasing parts of myself, in letting go of relationships, ambitions, maybe even habits, I risk no longer recognizing who I am. True liberation allows you to peel away layers, revealing the authentic self beneath, the man replied, his eyes steady. Consider a candle the wick must burn to cast the light. What will you give up to illuminate your purpose? Not every flicker means abandonment, some may simply serve as offerings to a greater flame than offerings demanding my willingness, Eli replied thoughtfully. But how do I decipher between genuine offerings and mere rejections birthed from fear? Engage those whispers within, he said, his voice dropping to a reverent whisper. In moments of stillness, ask yourself of each attachment, does it elevate me or anchor me? Listen closely to your heart, it knows the distinction. Trust its voice amidst the clamor of doubt. Eli closed his eyes, envisioning each aspect of his life, the relationships, his work, his desires, each presented before him, vibrant yet heavy. Suddenly, a thought emerged, almost crystalline in its clarity. What if I've been positioning myself against the very desires that could propel my growth? The man smiled. A powerful moment of realization, indeed. Embrace the tension. Desires, when acknowledged, reflect the heart's inclinations. Ask yourself what nourishes your essence, transforming mere wishes into purpose. What is worthy of your devotion and what merely distracts? Eli resonated with this query, but a thread of fear loomed. Yet, if I am to confront these truths, will I not wander near the precipice of loss? What if choosing to abandon something feels like losing a part of my story, and what is story, if not a series of transformations? The man reminded him gently. Your narrative evolves with each decision, each release expanding, growing deeper. Loss can be frayed, infused with tenderness, allowing space for new memories to flourish. Each chapter prepares you for the next. Are you ready to write anew? Eli's mind spun wildly, the imagery of unwritten pages igniting a spark. To choose to become is to engage in a dance with loss and rebirth. But will I be courageous enough to move to the rhythm of this unfolding story? Courage is a muscle, tested and strengthened through practice, came the wise reply. Face the uncertainty with nurturing intent. You will discover that in your willingness to confront both loss and hope, a new narrative will emerge, one that is wholly yours. Embrace the journey. As daylight fully bathed the land, Eli opened his eyes to the transformed world around him, rich with possibilities. In this luminous moment, uncertainty flickered alongside hope, each vying for his attention. What new steps will I take on this journey, and how will I honor the delicate balance between holding on and letting go? He pondered, the questions lingering in the air like a sacred echo of purpose yet to be realized. As the first rays of sunlight spilled over the horizon, Eli stood at the precipice of understanding, his heart resonating with the profound revelations of the night. The man beside him remained a constant presence, illuminating the path that lay ahead. Eli's thoughts swirled, caught in the delicate dance between hope and trepidation, as he began to fathom the depth of his own journey. What if I embrace this transformation, yet find myself lost in the shadows of doubt once more? Eli's voice trembled, a palpable mix of anguish and anticipation threading through his words. It was a question reflecting not only his fear of the unknown, but also the flicker of resolve igniting within him. The man smiled gently, his eyes sparkled with wisdom that transcended time. Every step toward transformation carries within it both uncertainty and hope. It is the courageous heart that ventures forth, trusting that even in darkness, there exists the potential for light. Eli inhaled deeply, absorbing the wisdom nestled within those words. Transformation was not merely an act of abandoning burdens, it was a sacred pilgrimage into uncharted territory, where courage and vulnerability intertwine. Then I shall embrace both uncertainty and expectation, he declared, the conviction in his voice gaining strength. With renewed determination, Eli turned his gaze toward the marketplace coming alive with the morning sun. The vibrant colors, the laughter of children, the hum of transactions all held the power to nourish his spirit. What now should I do? He asked, vulnerability lacing his words with a sense of eager anticipation. The man gestured toward the activity around them. Take the first step not in isolation, but amidst your community. Share your journeys, the burdens you wish to release, the aspirations you wish to cultivate. Remember, the act of vulnerability often paves the way for authentic connection. In your openness, you invite others to share in the journey as well. Eli felt the weight of this revelation. He had spent his life in the shadows, cloistered within his own pain, but what if by revealing his struggles he could illuminate the path for others? What if, in sharing his story, he could weave new threads of hope into the fabric of his community? Perhaps my transformation could ripple outward, touching lives I have yet to imagine, he mused silently, the thought igniting a fire in his heart. Indeed, the man confirmed, sensing Eli's burgeoning understanding. All are interconnected. By releasing your burdens and embracing understanding, you may just find that what you perceived as solitary becomes a shared endeavor of growth and healing. As the sun climbed higher, casting golden light upon the world, Eli felt a stirring deep within his soul, a recognition that he was not alone in his struggles. The shadows that had once seemed insurmountable were now companioned by a promise of shared experiences. Perhaps this path will teach me to see the struggles of others through a lens of compassion, he said, aware of the emotional weight that came with compassion but also the lightness it could bring. The man nodded approvingly, presence unwavering. Compassion is a gentle reminder of our shared humanity. Each person carries unseen battles. When we approach them with love and understanding, we deepen our connection to the world around us. As they walked further into the heart of the marketplace, Eli paused to observe those surrounding him, a mother comforting a child, an elderly man sharing stories with a group of young listeners, friends laughing together. In that moment, he felt a pang of recognition, a deep understanding that each of their souls harbored dreams and fears, hopes and regrets. The very essence of being human lay in these intricate stories, woven together by shared experiences. What if, Eli began, eyes brimming with newfound purpose, what if my own story can become a source of inspiration, a way to uplift others who feel lost in darkness? The thought coursed through him like electricity, igniting a fierce drive to embrace the transformative path before him. Yes, the man affirmed, an approving smile touching his lips. You carry within you a luminous light waiting to shine forth. Every challenge you faced has prepared you to stand as a beacon for others still perched in the shadows. Eli's heart quickened, a wave of determination washing over him. Then I will embrace my scars, for they are the markers of the journey I have traveled, he vowed, certainty edging into his voice. I will share my truth, knowing it could empower others to confront their own battles. Release, then release again, that will be my mantra. At this, the man beamed, eyes sparkling like the morning sun. You are beginning to understand the power of your voice. Each word holds the potential to heal, but remember, your transformation is not just about release, it is also about the space you create for new beginnings. What unknown wonders await you as you step into your truth? Eli pondered this as they walked through the market, sensing the vibrations of life all around him. He felt the exhilaration of stepping outside his familiar boundaries, unearthing the courage to greet the world anew. With every word I share, I not only release my burdens but also invite grace to dwell in the spaces left unfilled, he said, heart swelling with the beauty of possibility. Precisely, the man responded, his expression radiating warmth. You will find that transformation is a perpetual journey, a rhythm of letting go and embracing what lies ahead. You become the artist of your life, wielding compassion and understanding as your brush, painting a portrait of connection and grace. Eli smiled, a deep sense of purpose reaffirming his path. As he stood in the heart of the marketplace, he felt the intertwining narratives of humanity surging forth, stories laden with vulnerability, longing, and transformation. He was ready. Ready to face not only his own truths but to become a witness to the miracles unfolding around him. Now go forth, Eli, the man urged, a reverent solemnity gracing his words, and let your transformation be a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In your journey, you shall inspire others to seek their own light within the darkness. Trust the path, for every step leads toward your divine purpose. As Eli stepped into the warmth of the sunbeam slicing through the marketplace, he felt the embrace of possibility wrap around him like a gentle cocoon. No longer the shadows that had defined him, but a man poised on the threshold of greatness, prepared to redefine not only himself but the lives of those around him. The man watched as Eli moved forward, a beacon of hope emerging within the thrumming life that surrounded him. The marketplace, once a canvas of despair, now bore witness to a miraculous transformation, a convergence of souls navigating the beautiful complexity of existence. And as Eli's laughter rang out in the air, it echoed the message that we are not defined by our burdens. We are defined by the courage to abandon what weighs us down, the perseverance to seek light amid shadows, and the unwavering belief that our stories, the stories of all humanity, are but threads in a grand tapestry woven together by understanding, love, and grace. Thus, in a world shrouded by impermanence, Eli discovered the profound truth that each abandonment leads to a resurrection, each story an invitation to witness the miraculous nature of our collective journey. And somewhere amidst the rustling of leaves and the shimmering of stars, the echoes of faith resonated through the hearts of those willing to listen, forever propelled toward the light.